Hi everyone. Just out of curiosity, who has played NumCAD? Cool, cool. So my name is Herdjie. I'm the co-founder of Lucky Cat Studios, and we've managed to get more than 2 million downloads within 2 months without spending any UA budget. NumCAD is also the first mobile arcade game to feature all the famous internet cats. And today I'm going to tell you the story about how our studio started and how we've made NumCAD successful. So I've never worked in the game industry before. So if you've asked me exactly 1 year ago about eCPMs, user acquisitions, I would have no idea what you were talking about. More interestingly is that in 2015 I've been talking to cat owners almost every day. So I'm proudly can say that I know a little bit more about the game industry now, and also know a lot about how to monetize on cats. So Herdjie, my brother, he's been developing games pretty much his whole life, and we've always talked about starting a game studio together. But I've always felt insecure not knowing enough about the games industry. And right before Christmas 2014, I was struck with a cardiac arrest. And I'm very lucky to be alive. And then when I got out of the hospital, I was euphoric, and I thought I had nothing to lose. And that's when we decided, let's start a game studio together. And the first thing we did was we went to a Dutch network event. But basically with nothing. We didn't have a company name. We didn't have a business card, but what we did have was we had a lot of passion and enthusiasm, and luckily we found this great pixel artist called Jasper. So then we started doing prototyping, and Hernan had this idea of creating a mobile arcade game based on a Kirby minigame from the NES era. It goes like this. So, but instead of Kirby, we thought we needed cats, because cats are way cooler than Kirby. Sorry. And we started with one cat on one side of the screen, but since Flappy Bird and Crossy Road were a really big hit last year, we thought we needed a little bit more challenge. So that's when we decided to have 2 cats on both sides of the screen, and I was hooked right away. It was exactly what we were looking for. Then we started doing drawing cats. And we needed to have an iconic looking main character. So we started with this greasy looking cat on the left side for you, and eventually became this grumpy looking cat on the left side called NumCAD. And based on NumCAD, we could create a lot of cool characters, such as Sushi Cat, Disco Cat, Hipster Cat, you name it. We had a lot of fun making all of them. And then we had to come up with a game loop. Since our game was built in HTML5 and JavaScript, it was really easy to send out links to family and friends, so we could tweak the game until they were satisfied. One interesting note that we got from them is that they really loved the 30 seconds non-skippable video ads. Because the game could get so intense, they thought it was a really good moment to relax. And this is the first version of NumCAD. So basically what you do, you have to tap and hold on the cat. It opens their mouth. You have to feed them fish. You have to avoid the bombs. The more fish you eat, the higher your score. We have goldfish, and goldfish is our in-game currency, which you can use to unlock more characters. So while we were developing NumCAD, we also had to come up with a marketing strategy. And we came up with 2 basic ideas. So the first idea was to work with famous pixel artists on Twitter. They would draw a cat based on their game, and we would put their cat in in NumCAD, and we would cross-promote their game in NumCAD, and they would also do a mention on the launch day of NumCAD. And basically we had about 100,000 people we could reach on the first day. The second big idea we had was working with celebrity internet cats. So if we would work with them, we thought, we could reach a lot of people. So the first thing I did was obviously send an email to the Grumpy Cat manager, because that's the biggest cat around these days. So and I was really happy to get this answer from him. So, I thought maybe this is going to be a bad idea and we should give up. So my brother said, no, you shouldn't give up. So, and as I was browsing Facebook, I saw that most of the famous cats are adopted at an animal shelter. So I knew I had to approach them differently. And finally, we got in contact with Venus Two-Faced Cat. And she showed Nomcat to her kids. They really loved the game. She loved the game. So basically, she said, where do I sign up? So that was the first cat. We signed, from there, it was much easier to sign other Facebook cats. And basically, the hardest part was that the cat owners live in the USA. I mean, in what other countries do they monetize on cats? So negotiations would take in the evening. And with the first version, we had about a reach of 5 million people on social media. The deal we had with them was they would get a cut from a revenue share on the in-app purchase. They would post, we would draw a pixel art cat from their cat, and they would also launch a high score competition on Facebook. And we got a feature by Apple as well. That was really cool. And in the first week, we had about 800,000 downloads. When I talk to other friend developers, they mostly have around between 200,000 and 500,000 downloads. I'm not really sure what the effect is on the downloads, but I could see that we definitely have, on average, more downloads than other people who get a feature on Apple. But that was just the beginning, we thought, because we needed to have, Grumpy Cat. So the interesting thing about these cats, they all have one manager. So Grumpy Cat, Nyan Cat, and Keeper Cat, they have the same manager. And there's a whole commercial organization built around these cats. So think about expensive lawyers, contracts which are 50 pages, and they're really picky about artwork. The good thing is that the manager and we had a lot of respect for each other. When he started out, people thought he was the craziest person alive to manage cats. When I called him, he felt that we were doing the same thing, because people also thought that I was crazy to call him, So we found mutual respect for each other, and eventually we came up with this mutual beneficial agreement. And we did an update with Nomcat, and I think this was the biggest update ever. We got 140,000 downloads in 1 week, which was pretty crazy, actually. When it comes to retention rate, on average, day 1, 30%, day 7, almost 8%, and day 30, 1.5%. And the first day when we launched, 13th of May, we had a really crazy retention rate of 60%. And we started to think that we needed to update Nomcat regularly. So eventually, Garfield came along. They contacted us instead of we needed to contact them. And you can see that Garfield had almost 17 million likes on Facebook. So I was actually expecting a lot from them when they were posting about us. And we got about 50,000 downloads. Then we thought that, okay, we needed Instagram cats, because Instagram is something, newer than Facebook. So we approached these cats, and altogether they have about 1 million followers. The only disadvantage of Instagram is that you cannot post a direct link, on the post itself. So people have to go to the bio and then click on the link to download the game, obviously. So I thought, this is going to be probably even worse than Garfield. But the thing is, we got more downloads. So you could see, and I know why, the reason why that is that because Facebook doesn't like links in their posts. So probably when they posted about a game, they put the link in the post, and the reach was pretty bad, actually. And then we launched another game called Sky Chasers a couple of weeks ago. It did very well. A lot of pressure from the industry, as we had our first title was pretty successful. And luckily we did more than 1 million downloads in 2 weeks. And what we did was we did cross promotion of Nomcat in Sky Chasers. So there's a pop-up banner when you start Sky Chasers, and I was really curious how that was going to work out. And we had, for Nomcat, we had about 60,000 downloads. And by the way, all these numbers are iOS, so I didn't have Google Play numbers. And in total, today we have more than 3 million downloads and still haven't spent any money on UA. That's it. Thank you.
How much of your time did you end up spending per day on just getting noticed? And I mean, there must have been also a lot of effort on your side, or was having those cats in your game enough to get noticed?
You mean noticed by who? By the press?
By online, by the world, by anybody buying your game? Like,
yeah, I think having them on board, it's the same as doing co-branding. That was the basic idea. So when they would post about our game online, we were reaching a lot of people at the same time. So
okay, so that was one of the deals, right? They would activate their crowd to buy your game.
Yeah. So they post on their Instagram, on their Facebook. And we calculate we reached around 5 million people on day one.
You say you didn't spend anything for UA, but you also said that you have revenue share with all these cat owners and all these companies. So this is kind of also UA spend. How do you categorize it?
It depends how you define obviously UA, but we didn't have direct costs like direct upfront fees or anything like that. Normally, when you sign up or do a licensing deal, or you do UA, you have to create a budget and you pay right away for a user. This, we didn't pay right away. Obviously, App Store pays you in, I think, in 2 months, and we had a deal with them that we pay them afterwards. So I think we have a deal term for every net 90 deal with them.
How did you get featured by Apple?
Yeah, that's a big black box which everyone wants to know. Yeah, so I think if you're doing great marketing, there are people who are wondering and scattering about. I mean, they look for great games. So definitely try to get a feature on Touch Arcade or Pocket Gamer. That's really important. And that's and when we were doing this was something crazy, and Apple loves crazy ideas. So yeah.
What was something that you would have done different?
Yeah. So. We were actually really bad with doing press. That's something I learned along the way, because for Nomcat we didn't get any, like in the beginning we didn't get any press at all. I was sending emails to Touch Arcade, Pocket Gamer, etc., App Advice, but they wouldn't pick up my email or my article. And what we've learned is that just send out really short emails and be really specific. Because my emails were really, really long. So, yeah. Yeah, with the new title, we are working with a really famous YouTube celebrity, it's called nowadays. And we partnered up with her, and she's gonna do a really heavy promotion for our game, so which will definitely, after the feature, getting more downloads from her channel.
Do you feel like sort of leveraging these user bases that are generally probably less directly inclined to buy these kinds of games is sort of your strategy going forward? Because the next game that you guys made was not doing any of that, it looks like. Yeah. So like first you went for sort of the cat community, right?
Yeah.
And now this YouTube star, do you think there's other sort of user bases to sort of grab, or do you think that's
which are untapped, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot. I think, well, what I think that is that a lot of people try to follow each other. So, and I always say to the team, let's try to make something out of our comfort zone, and that's the only way where you can find different niches or different bases, user bases, how you call it, which are untapped.
Hi, you say for the famous cats, you had agreements for a revenue share.
Yeah.
Have you made the same with Garfield and Instagram as well?
Yeah, everyone has the same deal.
You've been covered before, but your second game, you got 1 million downloads in what, a week?
2 weeks. Yeah.
Is that because of your current install base for Nomcats, or
That's
pretty much the people you had already on your. Okay.
Generally, what kind of rev share you?
50-50.
50?
Yeah.
Well,
it's we firstly thought it's a more ad revenue driven game, so we didn't really care about in-app purchases in the beginning. And I thought 50-50 is a great deal. I mean, for both of us. I mean, we've reached so many people with Nomcat.
What's up?
Hey.
Any plans for UA, or are you just totally anti and you don't need it because you're?
Well,
awesome?
yeah, I've been speaking to some really interesting parties today. So I don't believe in advertisement. That's something like static interstitials and stuff. I personally hate them, and I just cannot believe people are still clicking on them, but they do. But it's getting less and less. So you see now a trend is everyone is moving from static interstitials to video ads. But I think that this is also getting matured. You see now a big move to influencers, which I think now is a great moment to move to working with influencers. Yeah.
You say you had 3 million downloads for Nomcat.
Yeah.
You use the networks of the famous cat people.
Yep.
What kind of reach do they have? Like, for example, Grumpy Cat. I mean, how many millions of people do they reach with their?
Yeah, it's really difficult to say because Facebook, right? If you have a page and you post something, you don't reach the maximum of people, right? So if you have 1,000 likes and you post something, I don't know, like nowadays you reach like 200 people or 300 people. Depends what you're doing. For example, I was promoting our Snapchat channel, and obviously Facebook hates Snapchat. So I could see that it was really funny. I was trying to pay Facebook and reach people. I could see I've never seen for $20 to reach 600 people. That was ridiculous. And then I changed Snapchat, I changed to an alpha, so they couldn't recognize it was Snapchat, and then suddenly the reach was way higher. It's like about 10,000.
I see.
So it's ridiculous.
You should write a little article just on that.
Yeah. So that's stuff you try to do as well.
All right.
Yeah.
So, and just in terms of percentages, how much? I mean, can you guess how much of a percentage of the people, or say the Grumpy Cat followers, bought your game or downloaded your game?
I think definitely most come from Grumpy Cat. Percentage-wise, I have no idea. Sorry, I cannot say that.
I was just curious what their reach is. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.